Covered in thousands of sharp quills, the porcupine looks like a creature built for survival, and in many ways, it is. But behind those spines lies a story stretching back tens of millions of years, a tale of parallel evolution, ancient migrations, and surprising adaptations. This is the entire evolution of the porcupine. Our journey begins around 40 million years ago in the dense tropical forests of Africa and Eurasia. After the dinosaurs vanished, small, rodent-like mammals were diversifying rapidly. Among them were the ancestors of today's rodents. The largest order of mammals on Earth, these early creatures evolved a remarkable set of traits: continuously growing front teeth for gnawing and a flexible diet that let them thrive almost anywhere. From these ancestors, two distinct lineages would eventually give rise to the world's porcupines. And here's where it gets interesting. Unlike most animals that evolved once and spread, porcupines are a story of convergent evolution. It means two separate groups on different continents independently evolved similar spiky quills for protection. The first group is the Old World porcupines. They evolved in Africa and later spread into southern Europe and Asia. Think of the large ground-dwelling types, like the African crested porcupine or the Indian porcupine. Their quills are long, hollow, and loosely attached, designed to easily dislodge into any predator that gets too close. They are masters of defense, rattling their quills as a warning before charging backward to impale their attacker. These porcupines became expert diggers, creating burrows in arid lands and savanna habitats. It's perfectly adapting to life on the ground. Meanwhile, on the other side of the world, a completely different story was unfolding. The second group, the New World porcupines, evolved separately in South America. They're generally smaller, often live in trees, and possess a secret weapon. Their quills have tiny, overlapping barbs at the tips. This innovation makes them incredibly dangerous. When a quill pierces skin, these barbs act like a fishhook, causing the quill to work its way deeper into an attacker's flesh with every movement. It's a highly effective and very painful defense mechanism. So, how did two unrelated groups of animals end up looking so similar? The answer is simple: evolutionary pressure. Both faced similar threats from carnivores, and both stumbled upon the same brilliant solution: turn fur into a formidable suit of armor. It's a perfect example of natural selection favoring parallel adaptations. But porcupines didn't just evolve to defend themselves, they adapted beautifully to their environments. While Old World porcupines perfected life on the ground, their New World counterparts took to the trees. Living in the lush rainforests of South America, they became excellent climbers, evolving prehensile tails that could grip branches and strong curved claws. Their arboreal lifestyle required lighter bodies and quills that lay flat against their fur until they needed to be raised in defense. Then, about 3 million years ago, a land bridge formed, the Isthmus of Panama, connecting North and South America. This historic event allowed these tree-dwelling porcupines to migrate north. This migration eventually gave rise to the North American porcupine, the only species found in the United States and Canada today. Fossil evidence shows us that early porcupines looked far less spiny than their modern descendants. But over millions of years, as predators like big cats, snakes, and early canids became more efficient hunters, natural selection favored the porcupines with denser, sharper, and more detachable quills. These gradual adaptations turned them into living, walking fortresses. The quills themselves are an evolutionary marvel. They're just modified hairs made of keratin, the same protein that forms our fingernails and a bird's feathers. Each quill grows from a follicle and is anchored to the skin, but it's designed to break free under pressure. And in New World porcupines, those microscopic barbs at the tip are so effective that they have inspired the design of next-generation medical needles for humans. Despite their intimidating armor, porcupines are surprisingly gentle herbivores. They have a varied diet feeding on bark, leaves, roots, and fruit. In doing so, they play an essential ecological role, shaping forests by pruning vegetation and helping to disperse seeds. Their ability to eat tough, fibrous plants allowed them to thrive in environments where few other animals could find enough food, contributing greatly to their evolutionary success. And in modern times, porcupines have continued to adapt. Their range now extends from the scorching deserts of Africa to the snow-covered forests of Canada. Some species have become nocturnal to avoid humans, while others have learned to use caves or abandoned burrows for shelter. Their incredible resilience speaks to the power of evolutionary flexibility. So let's recap the timeline of porcupine evolution. It unfolds in 3 distinct chapters. First, their origins around 40 million years ago, when the first rodent ancestors appeared in Africa and Eurasia. Second, the incredible period of dual evolution, where Old World and New World porcupines independently developed quills for survival on separate continents. And third, the modern diversity we see today. With dozens of species adapted to deserts, jungles, and mountains all across the globe, today there are more than 24 species of porcupines worldwide, and each one carries millions of years of evolutionary history on its back. Their story is a powerful reminder that evolution isn't always a straight line. It often repeats itself, experimenting with the same idea in different places, and achieving similar results through completely different paths. So the next time you see a porcupine shuffling through the forest, remember what you're really looking at. It's not just a spiny rodent, it's the product of 2 separate, epic evolutionary journeys that converged on the same ingenious solution. Nature found armor twice, and both times, it worked perfectly. Thanks for watching. If you found this evolutionary journey as fascinating as we did, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more stories from the natural world. See you next time.